get started now.
Brilliant. Thank you, everybody who's joining today, both those who are watching live and those who are going to be watching on demand. We are here today to talk about Azure Marketplace. We've got Darren Sharpe here, who I'll let do an introduction in a little while to help me talk about this topic. Hopefully it gives you a chance to answer. We can give you a chance to answer your questions. And we're going to be going into a little bit of detail about MPO and what that means. So just a little bit of an agenda so you can see what we're going to be talking about. So we're going to be talking about the current landscape of cloud marketplaces, what is a cloud marketplace, what are we seeing in that kind of world, what Darren's hearing, what I'm hearing, all of that good stuff. Then we're going to be talking a little bit about Softcat and Microsoft's 30-year partnership, a little bit more detail on what that means to us and what that means for MPO. We're talking about some of the vendors that we're working with, or ISVs as we like to refer to them as. Then we'll get into the part about Azure Marketplace and what it actually is and how it can help your organization, and really talking about multi-party private offers, how Softcat can help you as your channel partner, some Q&As, and then we'll talk about the next steps. So, hi Darren, thank you for coming today. We're really happy to have you.
Wow.
We'd like to do a little bit of an introduction as to who you are and what you do.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks, Amber. Look, it's great to join you this morning. Hi, folks. My name's Darren Sharpe. I work for Microsoft, and I'm responsible for the UK services partners like Softcat that are building this capability of helping their customers modernize their applications through our cloud marketplace platform. And I appreciate that sounds like a complicated introduction. Hopefully today we're going to give you some insights, as Amber said, from that agenda as to what that means and how there's some real value here in Softcat that's leading this charge across the UK to help you modernize this world of software as a service and software automation. So super excited to be with you today, Amber.
Thank you, and thanks for being here today, Darren. So we've got a little poll that's going to pop up on the screen. Hopefully all things considered, hopefully you can see that. We'd love for you to just vote on how you would rate your current knowledge and understanding of Azure Marketplace. I'm going to vote as well.
And I think this is useful, Amber, isn't it? It's just to give us a bit of a temperature check. Some honesty, please, folks, if you would. Do you know already how comfortable you are? Don't worry, it's not a test. Just to Amber and I understand.
No judgment.
We can talk today and maybe how we can take some insights, and we'll have another couple of polls through the session today, won't we, Amber?
Absolutely. Fab.
Hey, somewhere in the middle.
Nice.
That's really good. So it's quite a broad spread, isn't it? So only a little to fairly good, I would say the most common, but that's super interesting. Well, hopefully we can help you improve upon that today, Amber, can't we?
Yeah, I hope so. Darren, over to you to give a little bit of a background on cloud marketplaces.
Fab. Okay. Thanks, Amber. Appreciated. So let's level set, if that's all right, and look at the kind of landscape as Amber positioned in the agenda. So we're going to look at the platform piece of this first of all. So look, to be super clear, this is really all about automation and SaaS. It's not just about procuring licenses. It's got to be about, as we call it, procurement transformation. And we've had cloud marketplaces for 10 plus years now, so it's not necessarily a new technology as much as some of the features we're going to talk about today that are really giving you partner value are quite new. But let me call out, this is a huge market which is going through incredible growth for all the hyperscalers. And the reasons for that, well, it's allowing our great software vendors that are building on Azure to have a platform to use and build the Azure technology like Azure OpenAI and all those great cloud functions of Azure. But Azure Marketplace allows you, our customers, to be able to access that growing world of SaaS. And to talk through some of the dynamics here, looking at those two middle stats, some of the big VC organizations, venture capitalist organizations like Battery and Bessemer, they're actually mandating that some of those digital native software companies are starting with cloud marketplaces. And that's because they offer fast time to value. If we look at some of the buying dynamics, and we'll talk about some of this in a second, um, we see this changing landscape of maybe you and your businesses having challenges as to how you're consuming software and managing software. So those venture capitalist organizations that are mandating that these new digital natives are starting with cloud marketplaces and they're going really super fast, they don't necessarily have the channel support, the services support, that ecosystem advisory that Softcat can offer. And they're looking to acquire those channels. Um, from a very traditional vendor perspective, from those kind of 15 to 20 enterprise critical applications that runs your business today, you're probably looking at, by category, 2 to 3 different vendors to see how you can maybe modernize that particular workload. Maybe that's looking to deliver more elastically. Now, those vendors do have channels already, but are adopting the cloud marketplace stance. And hey, if those vendors want to be working with Azure OpenAI, of course, they've got to be in the cloud. So it's a very changing and dynamic market, and one where we're seeing a huge amount of SaaS being ingested on a month-on-month basis, but a huge market opportunity for these cloud marketplaces to help you as a customer manage this world. So let's dig into what that means. I'm sure we're going to share some of these slides afterwards. Let me give you some sense as to maybe some of the challenges that you're going through. And I think this really resonates. It resonates with me. Hopefully it does with you as a customer. And there's some real channel understanding here and channel value, and that's what we hope to get out from today. But let's be super clear. We know that you as a customer wants to change the value profile of the applications that you're buying. Now, what does that mean? It's kind of the buy versus build approach. And that's really because we know you want to get value out of the products that you're consuming a lot quicker. I kind of like to make some aging analogies here, as much as Amber will probably take the mickey out of me. There is a dynamic in our world that of the digital buyer. And as my son would say to me, or maybe I think Amber said to me a couple of times, Darren, you had an analog upbringing. Amber definitely had a digital upbringing. Now, without being ageist, not bringing age into this call, that digital buyer or that millennial buyer is very used to a digital buying experience. Something like 60% of enterprise buying decisions over the next 2 years will be made by a millennial. And you as a customer, whether you sit in procurement, whether you sit in cloud, whether you sit in vendors, or you're in a line of business, you're supported by Softcat as that channel partner. You will probably have some of those challenges for managing some of this world, because we know that you are, as a buyer, you're just going and standing up the applications that you need to run your business. And that's potentially giving some challenges as to how you can drive standards out across that organization. But this buy rather than build approach, to go back to that kind of change in consumption economic, we know that, you as buyers, or the buyers in your organizations, have probably got 15 to 20 different points of information gathering before you speak to the Softcat team. And that gives some challenges for those software vendors as to how to reach you. If you're going through that discovery process in different tools, how can you manage that as a customer? And that's where Softcat can add some real value that we're going to get onto in a second. I've put a stamp of a book on there called Consumption Economics. It's a book that would definitely put you to sleep, but it is very good. The reason why I like to talk about consumption economics is because it talks about the consumption gap. And whether we know what that is or not, it's something we're all familiar with. Let me put it into my context. For me, this is Microsoft Excel. So Excel has got something like 1,600 features, and I think I can probably count about 5 that I know how to use. So the consumption gap, when we talk about enterprise software, is exactly the same thing. It's the difference in the features that exist within the product versus actually what we use. We know as you as customers want to get better value out of the software that you're consuming, making sure you're not over licensing, and deliver that in an agile way to the business. So let's have a little look at that. When we talk about that line of business buyer, and those buying decisions being disseminated, in days of old, in my analog upbringing, maybe that was considered more shadow IT. As I said earlier, it's really now just organizations buying the software they, want to run their business with. But if you consider someone in marketing buying a CRM function and someone in finance actually going and doing the same thing on a departmental level and probably over licensing that by maybe 5 to 10% to give a bit of headroom, that's leading to, well, what we call SaaS sprawl, phrase coined by some of the analysts. It means that similar adjacent products are being over licensed, and something like 38% of SaaS currently is wasted. And obviously that doesn't make a great deal of financial sense. So what we want to talk to you about today is actually using these cloud platforms like Azure Marketplace, delivered by Microsoft, can be a single point of aggregation for your buyers to go and find, try, test, and deploy software as a service in these modernizing applications. And with that SaaS buyer probably accounting for 70% of SaaS, actually that number was released by an analyst called Xylo about 4 years ago now. And whether that resonates or not, it's certainly, we know this to be the case for a number of customers. There's challenges in that world. So we can use, by kind of not necessarily mandating, but encouraging our users to start using Azure Marketplace for their discovery process. Actually, if you're in a procurement persona, you can put some guardrails around those line of business buyers to help drive some standards. So there's some tools in the platforms that will really help you deliver this modernizing application portfolio and help you not only discover, but as we're going to get onto in a second, and Amber's going to take you through in a second, actually contract and get some value from Softcat as the ecosystem advisory. So here's those benefits kind of translated into, let's talk about where some of this comes from. This buy versus build approach, and say, hopefully this resonates. There are so many applications out there now that you can use to live your business. How do you manage this world? How do you find, try, test, and discover? And then how do you enterprise contract, but still with elasticity? How do you scale up and scale down? And I think, there's some stats shown top right here. You can see, there's some benefits to you, the customer. These are actually results of a survey from a marketplace aggregator called tackle.io. If you're trying to look at how to implement a cloud marketplace strategy within your business, the Softcat team can take you through this. Tackle.io generally help ISVs list in cloud marketplace platforms, and they also run this state of cloud marketplaces survey. Now, the results top right here are actually from that survey 2 years ago, asking cloud marketplace buyers today, those that were actively using cloud marketplaces, what are the benefits? And you can see that, as Amber's probably going to take you through in a minute, we can draw down on those cloud commits if you're an enterprise customer. We'll cover that in just a sec. But actually, these time to value benefits around the edge, like simplification of your vendors, consolidating your spend, accelerating time to value by shortening that discovery process and improving that contracting process, those benefits are just as important now as being able to decrement that commit. And as you'll see, the bottom results there, there's lots of benefits to your partners, to your software partners, and actually the software partners where, the Softcat team are that ecosystem advisory. And that's where this is heading. It's because, in days of old, customers used to say to me, we don't want one throat to choke from a provider perspective. And I'm pleased to say now, you as customers generally want an ecosystem of both product and partners. And that's best in class resell advisory, and that cost optimization process that Softcat's probably delivered to you in a very traditional way for many, many years. And as now Softcat are building with these platforms to be able to deliver modern cost optimization with some elasticity. So some real key benefits.
Thanks, Darren.
Yeah, no problem.
Definitely some really interesting stats there, some really interesting topics of conversation. And I think I definitely hear it when I speak to customers, and I'm sure you definitely hear it all the time. And this SaaS sprawl and where do I start and what vendors do I use? And it's loud and it's crazy, right? But being in this cloud marketplace world, I definitely think that seeing platforms like this and what the vendors are doing and what we're doing as your channel partner, we're seeing it become a little bit more easier for customers and a little bit more tangible, and we're really seeing the benefits of that. So
Yeah, absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah, Amber, over to you.
Thanks for taking us through that. Thanks, Darren. So just a little bit on our relationship with Microsoft, just to give you a little bit of a background. We've been a Microsoft partner for over 30 years now. Microsoft are our top vendor here at Softcat. We really, really value our relationship with them. It's very, very important to us. We have over 50 individuals dedicated to just Microsoft and supporting our customers on their Microsoft journey. So we see it as so important, and that 30-year relationship is something that we really cherish. We also have specializations and certifications. We have 8 Microsoft specializations, and we have over 100 Microsoft professionals certified. So our guys really know what they're talking about when we're talking to you about Microsoft. So that encompasses Marketplace as well. So our team are really on hand to be able to support you with growing in the marketplace and understanding the landscape of the marketplace. So that's something that we're really proud of. We offer solutions in lots of different areas. So modern workplace, Azure, obviously, that's a really, really strong place for us, and where we're seeing benefits from customers and helping customers benefit from Azure and from the cloud. Copilot, obviously everybody's talking about Copilot and AI at the moment, so we have a really strong team dedicated to talking to customers about Copilot and how we can help. We're also a CSP partner, and we are also a fast track partner. So we really value Microsoft, and Microsoft really value us. So we have a great partnership, and that's why we're really excited about this Azure Marketplace launch, and really excited about MPO and how we can take that relationship and that partnership even further with our customers. So yeah, just a little bit of background as to why we see Microsoft as so important, especially in this world. Want to talk a little bit about some of the vendors that we work with as well. So those ISVs that we've been talking about, those that are listed on the marketplace. So alongside our 30-year relationship with Microsoft, we also have an extensive partner ecosystem with similar longevity and really excellent accreditations in this space. So we've worked and handpicked a few of these partners to be part of the MPO launch with us. We work tirelessly with them and with Microsoft to make sure that they are in a position to offer you as customers their latest and greatest and best products in Marketplace and in a really seamless way. So we're really excited to be working with these vendors. We've worked with a lot of them for a really long time. So we have excellent relationships with them to be able to deliver those offerings in the marketplace. And whilst that's not limited to these vendors on the screen, these are our tried and tested, and we know that these guys have the expertise. And Darren's been working really hard from his side as well to make sure that these vendors are working with their channel partners like Softcat to help customers and make sure that everything works as smoothly as possible in the marketplace. So just a little bit of a snapshot as well of the vendors that we're working with. We're going to do another poll now as well, if we can get the poll up here. So if you could rank what the most important reason for you using Azure Marketplace out of these 4. So we've got simplify the way that we buy software and applications, get better value from my Microsoft Cloud commitment, discover and try more elastic software to suit the needs of my business, or drive more standards in the software that people within my business are buying. So out of the 4 of these, what would you say is the most important to you as an organization? Just give it a couple of seconds. I'm going to vote as well on this one as well.
And this might be it might be a question that you can't answer today, Amber, if you're not using it. I fully appreciate it. But it's, I guess, from kind of what we've talked through today, it's the other way of phrasing the question would be, why do you think you might want to be using these
Yeah,
cloud platforms and Azure Marketplace specifically. You might take it from that
yeah,
viewpoint.
exactly that. Okay, let's have a look at these results.
That's
Get better
super interesting.
of
So
cloud. Nice. Okay.
still cloud commit first, which is, says something about, I think, the audience that we've potentially got today, that you've got some of those Azure consumption commits.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that we're seeing grow more and more. I'm talking to customers daily at the moment about how they are leveraging those cloud commitments and how they are leveraging them as in their cloud journey. And how can we bring everything into one place, and how can we streamline that procurement and just make it a lot simpler and really utilize those cloud commitments to the best of their ability. So it makes sense that that's at the top. It's definitely something that I've been seeing and hearing from customers. So that's great. On to the next. I think, Darren, you're going to take us through just some of
Yeah.
the
It's
features.
almost a perfect poll, that, Amber, isn't it? Because it kind of
Almost
really,
like
I know, it's almost as if we set that up. I promise you we didn't.
almost.
Because actually it plays really nicely to this, which is to talk about, not just talk about the features, but the benefits. So look, let's start here and let's be clear about what we're launching today, and what we're talking about, what's going to happen over the next few weeks. As much as you can use Azure Marketplace to discover, that's some of the simplification stuff. When it comes to managing those software contracts, that's a private offer. And what Softcat are able to deliver for you, the customer, is a multi-party private offer. What that means is it's your trusted ISV or your new ISV, Softcat that's advised on that ecosystem. Amber took you through the partners that are kind of in that top set of Softcat's ecosystem of ones they understand, are delivering technical services in. And again, you've got a great mix there. You've got some vendors that are very trusted within your application portfolios. You've got some net new vendors that are really delivering elastically in our cloud marketplace first, but channel partner first as well. So that's that vendor portfolio. The vendor will authorize Softcat. All those vendors are channel first. It means they rely on Softcat as that trusted advisor to work out what those ecosystems and adjacencies are. And Softcat will deliver that private offer within the marketplace shell. So that private offer is a dedicated link that you see within Azure Portal to be able to accept the terms from the ISV. And if we think about that automation for a second, so as you said at the top of the call, it's not based on just buying licensing. Those vendors on that list here have worked very hard to build the automation, and they've got SaaS listings or containers or virtual machines. So given that, public listing in the marketplace for some automation, using Softcat as your trusted advisor, your ecosystem deliverer, the cost optimizer, modernizing that relationship, that Softcat's had with you potentially for quite some time. Actually, Softcat being the stars here and delivering elastically using the platform, you're able to get dedicated commercial terms really quickly. And that could all happen super fast. So 2 points to call out here as we direct to this slide. That multi-party private offer will decrement your MAC to 100% of the total spend value that Softcat invoice you for. And that's that financial value that clearly some of you recognized already in the poll we ran a moment ago. If we look at, the kind of number two reason in there, which is simplification, then that's the value that Softcat can bring here by helping you adopt Azure Marketplace. It's streamlining your procurement processes by using the Amber and the team, who are fantastic at helping you understand how you can start to adopt Azure Marketplace and use that for your discovery, but more importantly, get best value and manage those contracts with Softcat holistically looking after this world for you. That's the procurement streamlining piece. And then, we move to the right-hand side where we're talking about acceleration and time to value and how you innovate. And that might be in the discovery process, but actually go back to what we were saying about how you can buy, more elastically, you can scale up and scale down. You can use the platform as managing this, but actually you've got Softcat as your trusted advisor. And I think to really double down on the importance of Softcat here, it's widely recognized, or has been for a number of years that at least a third of cloud marketplace spend is going to be transacted and managed by a partner. I actually believe as Microsoft rolls out multi-party private offer, and we've launched this in the States, we are literally super proud to be working with Softcat as a launch partner for the UK and Canada right now. I think that 1/3 will become 2/3. I think at least, 60 to 70% of our cloud marketplace spend, of your cloud marketplace spend, is going to be managed by those next generation channel partners like Softcat that have got that forward thinking approach to be able to give you more value, because that's what it's about. It's managing those traditional vendors that are going through this modernization approach, and it's accessing all those new and exciting and innovative categories around AI, and as Amber mentioned, Copilot. And lastly, that piece on the right hand side, which is about operational governance. That's the private marketplace feature. Again, it's a feature of the platform that helps you maybe put some controls around those line of business buyers. But it's, surprise, surprise, no surprise, it's Softcat as that ecosystem advisory that can help you build that world, that can help you understand what that workflow can be, and can help you build out that private marketplace strategy to put some controls and standards around what software you're delivering to the business. So lots of innovation in one slide here. Amber, any comments you want to make?
Yeah, just thank you, Darren. And I think that all of these features are excellent, and things that customers that we're speaking to about this are really going to benefit now that MPO is launched. I think just going back to the channel side, talk about it in a little bit more detail on the next slides, but it's so true. We fit into all four of these pillars, right? We have the teams and the specialists and the operational setup to help you on all four of these pillars. Because if you're looking at this now, you think, wow, there's a lot that we can do with it. There's a lot of vendors. Where do I start? How does it all work? How do I make sure that I've got the governance? How do I make sure that I'm getting access to the right vendors, to the solution that I need? That's where Softcat can come in and help you. We have those teams dedicated to help you finding the best ISV for the solution that you need to solve, and making sure that it ticks the boxes that you need, and that it's the perfect fit for you as an organization, and all of those things that matter to you. Decrementing your map, we can obviously make sure that we're using those cloud commitments to kind of help you get the most out of those cloud commitments, and leverage those private offers through MPO. We can support with that, finding and trying those technologies back to that ISV play. We can help you with that, and again, our specialist teams can offer you the best technologies based on their knowledge and their expertise and their conversations with customers. And then the governance side, private marketplaces and the guardrail, so you do have peace of mind, because a lot of customers can sometimes feel nervous about SaaS sprawl and vendors that they might not have worked as closely with, but we can really kind of give you that peace of mind that you are going to be protected, and your organization is choosing the right technology, and it's protected, and all of that good stuff. So hopefully you really see that value of using a channel partner like Softcat. So Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft, said Microsoft has always been a partner-led company and always will be. We really recognize this working with Microsoft. They're really dedicated to programs like multi-party private offer, where they are encouraging the vendors and the customers to work with those trusted advisors to help them on journeys like this, not just Azure Marketplace, but all things Microsoft, whether it is Copilot, or whether it is CSP, or whether it is your Azure spend and utilizing the cloud. Channel partners like Softcat can help you with all of that, and Microsoft have really put the time and the energy, as have we, over the last 30 years, like I mentioned a couple of slides before, to be able to offer that. So just a few of the benefits that we can help with: efficiency and simplification. Like I mentioned, we can simplify that vendor landscape. Looking at it, sometimes it can be a bit overwhelming. Where do I start? Who do I use? Everybody's telling me that their product is the latest and greatest and can solve all their problems. Who do I choose? You can lean on partners like us to kind of help point you in the right direction based on what you need. and really simplify that cloud landscape. Flexible terms and pricing, like we mentioned with MPO and using multi-party private offer, we can really be flexible with what that looks like for you based on what your needs are, and making sure that you're getting the right pricing and making sure that it works for you as an organization. Every organization is different, and we want to be flexible with that to make sure that it works. And also try before you buy, so we can help get proof of concept, get trials for these technologies to make sure that they are the right fit for you before you go ahead and purchase them and roll them out in your organization. So we can help with all stages of that. Like we said, work closely with Microsoft, work closely with the vendors that you saw on the screen a few slides ago, and also several hundred other vendors in the Azure Marketplace landscape to make sure that we offer you the solution that you need, because everybody's different. So as we mentioned, MPO, it launches today. Today's a launch day. So as of today, we can offer you these multi-party private offers. Like we said, we can tailor them to your needs, use the technology that you need. So if you would like to know any more information about multi-party private offers and how we can use those cloud commitments, those MAC agreements to decrement those MACs, we can definitely help you with that as of today. So we're really excited to be one of only a few partners in the UK that are able to offer this. It launched to US customers last year. We've seen great success, right, Darren? The US customers and the partners in the States have seen real benefit from this. So we're really excited to replicate that in the UK. Got a lot of customers that we've been speaking to that are really excited about this launch, a lot of vendors that are really excited about it as well. So hopefully you'll feel as passionate about cloud marketplaces, especially Azure, as Darren and I do. We are a bit cloud marketplace obsessed, aren't we, Darren?
I think so.
About it. We sleep about it, dream about it, talk about it all day long. So really excited that multi-party private offer will bring the acronym. MPO is here and ready to go. Anything else you'd like to add on MPO?
I guess it's just the only thing to take from a number perspective, Amber, and I appreciate your customers here. So, not necessarily aware of, wanting to talk about size and scale of deals. We don't want to talk about deals. It's about driving value. But within Microsoft, we see that the multi-party private offers are considerably bigger than a private offer than an ISV might be delivering directly. We know the direction of travel here is channel, as you are trusted advisor. But I think already, Amber, as you said, having launched this in the States, that really gives us some indication as to how important Softcat is here to the UK market. You as that ecosystem advisor, you as that, deliverer of that custom pricing through the marketplace, shows us the depth of that value, because you're delivering bigger and longer term solutions. So yeah, super exciting.
Definitely. We've got one more poll, and then we're going to open up the audience for some questions if anybody has any. So after hearing myself and Darren speak about Azure Marketplace, how would you now rate your knowledge? Hopefully we'll see some of those lines go up.
People could really shoot us down here, Amber, couldn't they?
They could really shoot us down.
Let's hope that people don't do that. But the intent is that we've given you a little bit more of an insight as to what's possible.
Nice.
Looks like good. We've headed into the right direction, which is
so we're heading the right direction, and hopefully Darren and I are both open to having conversations after today's call, and get in touch with your account manager if you would like a little bit more information, a deeper dive, some demos. We can talk to you about what vendors we can work with and really get you hands-on with how it can benefit your organization. So appreciate we've only got a small time to try and cram as much into these webinars, but yeah, we're more than happy to help with continuing conversations afterwards. So just having a look at some questions. Oh, we'll come back to that slide. Got one for you, Darren. What is your favorite feature of Azure Marketplace? What's your favorite if you had to pick one?
Favorite feature. Look, I've always been channel aligned in any role that I've had, with the hyperscalers or vendors, or indeed channel partners. But so I've got to, it sounds cheesy, doesn't it? But it's got to be the multi-party private offer approach, because it really does bring together that ecosystem of you as the expert channel partner and this fantastic world of both digital natives and traditional modernizing ISVs, and that power of that co-sell with Microsoft. So those tackle stats, it sounds pre-canned, doesn't it? But you can tell, as you said, we talk about this every day, those tackle stats that say it's all about channel. 5 years from now, every seller in an ISV organization will know how to go to market with both channel and a hyperscaler like Microsoft. And
Yeah.
I think for you as customers, that's really important to be, on that adoption journey as you look to get best value for your own organizations. There you go. Sorry, long waffly answer.
No,
It's the channel
perfect.
mechanics.
Good, that's great. We've got another question here, and something that you and I talk about quite a lot, and how this is going to develop. Are all Microsoft Marketplace ISVs themselves customers of Azure, or is that aspect of the relationship agnostic? I.e., could they themselves be hosted by another hyperscaler, but then sold by the Microsoft Marketplace as well as elsewhere?
I mean, it's a great question. So look, any ISV can build within the platform, and there are benefits in doing so of being majority platformed in Azure. So to answer the question simply, there's many ISVs that haven't necessarily built everything in Azure. They might be consumed in another hyperscaler, and you can buy those in the marketplace. As long as the solution is transactable, you can buy that as a customer through a multi-party private offer process from Softcat. However, it might not decrement the MAC.
Yeah.
So I think the underlying question there, Amber, is, on what kind of level of importance do we rank that? In order to decrement the MAC, the solution has got to be majority platformed in Azure.
Yeah.
And that's the gate there. So to decrement the MAC with the MPO transaction, the solution itself has got to have gone through that architectural review. So that's the difference there. Yes, you can transact anything, but it's MAC decrementable if the solution not majority platform that might create the difference.
And there's kind of two responses to that as well. So you'll be able to identify those vendors in the Azure portal that are MAC decremental, and there'll be a little notification that says. And we're also seeing vendors move to platform themselves in Microsoft as well, aren't we? We're seeing that demand. So we're seeing that space grow even more so as this Azure Marketplace grows. We're seeing that from the vendors, because they're identifying that customers do have those MAC agreements and they want to decrement them, and how can we offer their solution to them? So we're seeing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fab. Another question here. We've touched briefly on how Azure Marketplace can help drive compliance and avoid SaaS sprawl. One of the key challenges SaaS buyers face is managing licensing allocations effectively. Who wants a license versus who needs a license? Does Azure Marketplace have any features that can help this challenge? So I would start with what Softcat can do. I'll leave you, Darren, to say if there's any other features. I don't know if there's any live right now, but definitely ones that will be coming. But we do have services that can offer support in terms of who wants a license versus who needs a license. We work really closely with our IT asset management team and provide specific services and audits for your organization to help manage that. We can then filter that through to the Azure Marketplace and manage that within the back end of Azure Marketplace. But we definitely have services and teams dedicated to be able to help you with that and managing that upfront. Darren, are there any features new coming soon that might be able to help with that?
Yeah, so look, it's a growing part of the platform as we look to deliver more value with it. You've got license and subscription management. It's very often down to the vendor as to what that looks like within the platform. But yeah, you're going to find some subscription and license management tools within Azure Marketplace. Amber, you're right. The best point of entry for that to understand what that is absolutely Softcat.
Yeah, brilliant. We can follow up with that as well if you need any other any more support on that. So that's fab. I know we keep going to this slide and then coming back. Just a quick one on what's next. We will follow up with some more FAQs and answer any more questions that are in the chat. But just a few things on what's next. So this is a cloud marketplace adoption framework for customers. So this is something that we're really encouraging customers to follow and to try and help understand, to make sure that they're getting the most out of Azure Marketplace. And we're really hoping that you would use Softcat at each point of this to help your organization. So educate, make sure you understand what cloud marketplace is. Hopefully from today you've educated yourselves a little bit more from Darren and I, and started your journey with that education side and what the basic principles and the benefits are of a cloud marketplace, specifically Azure Marketplace. Understand the functionality and how it can work in your procurement strategy, so that enablement side on the second point. So we can take you through that as well. We can take you through how that will look and how that procurement strategy will look, and how that works with working with the vendors, and then adding your terms, and then making sure that it decrements your max, so we can really help enable you with that, so you understand that process through and through. Understand the potential ISV solutions that you want to purchase. So again, this is something that we can support with, as I've mentioned several times throughout this session today, the vendors that we work with, the vendors that we look to onboard for your specific needs, new vendors that have been in the industry a long time, we can really help identify those potential ISVs that you want to purchase. Understand the solutions available on Marketplace and how they can be purchased. So we can make sure that you're assessing all of those solutions and understanding how they're purchased and how it looks for you as an organization. And then the transaction side, again, we can really help make sure that that transaction is as smooth as possible for you and your organization. So hopefully we can help you with all 5 of these points. We're really happy and willing to support you. So if you have got any questions or want any follow-up information, we will be sending out this deck, and we will be sending out some FAQs and some follow-up answers to some of the questions. But yeah, we're here to help. We're lean into us as your channel partner, and lean into Microsoft to utilize the Azure Marketplace. Darren, I don't know if you've got any closing words before we end today.
Yeah, just as you said, Amber, it's how to get started, and Softcat's got some value all the way through that chain. And I just wanted to touch back on some of there's a brief question raised into Q&A, I think, about negotiating terms or renegotiating standard terms. So actually, we're not changing anything here in that terms process. It's part of the simplification process, and you've covered it here nicely in the wash up. But the key is here to give it to let's give it a try to make sure we can show how this works. That question in Q&A about negotiating those terms and, making changes in a legal framework, that's all included within the contract flow. And again, Softcat manages that. We're not closing out any ability to change some of those standards. We're actually making it more visible and including those standard contract packs in the flow. It's a fantastic question. And that slide there about that customer adoption framework, Amber, I think summarizes it perfectly, that Softcat can help, with the understanding of what the legal ramifications are of building that contract flow out, but modernizing it and make it become easier. So my ask is, don't fear it. Let's try it. Come and talk to the Softcat team, and with support from the Microsoft team, as to how we can help you on that adoption framework journey.
Yeah, for sure. Brilliant. Thank you, Darren. Thank you for
Pleasure.
spending your time with us this morning talking about Azure Marketplace. I know it's going to be a lovely busy day for you with it being launch day. So we appreciate you taking the time to sit with us, talk to us. Hopefully it's been really beneficial. Hopefully we've helped educate some people here today. We'll do a follow-up for both those who couldn't make it live and to those who have been here today. So we really appreciate your time, and thank you, audience, for those who have joined. We hope you have a lovely sunny Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It feels like a Thursday because of bank holiday. Not fun, but it's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. And thank you guys. Have a lovely day.
Thanks, Amber.
Darren.
Thanks, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye.